Hello and welcome to Look Back, Look Ahead. I'm Frank Calderone. Last week, ending September 9th, stocks had a good week as all of the three major indexes posted their first weekly gains in a month. For the week, the Dow was up 2.7%, the S&P up 3.6%, and the Nasdaq up 4.1%. Investors cited oversold conditions in the market, improving labor market data, along with corporate earnings as the reasons for the gains. Economic news released last week showed that the ISM Services Index remained in expansion territory during the month of August, improving slightly from 56.7 in July to 56.9 in August. Exports of goods and services continued the stellar performance that started during the second quarter. The increase in exports and the decrease in imports helped bring down the trade deficit by $10.2 billion in July. Year to date, the Dow was down 11.5%, the S&P down 14.7%, and the Nasdaq is down 22.6%. The yield on the 10-year U.S. Treasury bond is 3.31%. To take note, the yield on the 2-year Treasury bond is 3.56%. When the yield on a 2-year bond is higher than the 10-year bond, we have what is called an inverted yield curve. Oil closed at $86.10 a barrel. Gold closed at $1,714.80 an ounce, with silver closing at $18.65 an ounce. For this week of September 12th, on Tuesday, we'll get the Small Business Index, the Consumer Price Index, Core CPI, and the federal budget. The Consumer Price Index, or CPI, is a measure of the average change in prices paid by consumers over a period of time for a basket of goods and services. Core CPI is CPI less food and energy. On Wednesday, the Producer Price Index will be reported. Thursday, we'll get initial and continuing jobless claims, retail sales, the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, the Import Price Index, industrial production, and business inventories all make up a very busy Thursday. And on Friday, the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index and their 5-year inflation expectations all will be reported. And as always, we'll keep a watchful eye on these and any other events that may and will shape the markets. In the meantime, be diversified with your investments and always know what you want in your portfolio. If you have any questions pertaining to your portfolio or anything you've heard in this video, give me a call. This is Frank Calderone from Raymond James in New York. Have a great week. Be well, stay safe, and remember, always look ahead.